You ever been totally stuck on a problem and then, bam, out of nowhere, the perfect solution just pops into your head? That flash of insight, that aha moment, it feels like pure magic. But what if it's not? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on creativity and show you that the spark of genius is a real, tangible process inside our brains that we can all understand. Let's get into it. So this is the big question, right? Where do these brilliant ideas actually come from? Is it some mysterious force, or is it something our brain is designed to do? We're going to explore the science behind that sudden creative insight that has literally powered human innovation for centuries. All right, to get to the bottom of this, here's our game plan. We'll start with what that spark of genius really is. Then we'll look at a key mental tool our brain uses, the power of analogy. After that, we'll dive into the two systems of thinking fast and slow, take a peek inside a creatively wired brain, and wrap it all up by showing you how to harness your own creativity. Okay, first things first, let's demystify this whole creativity thing. It's not some unknowable magical force. It's actually a fundamental part of our intelligence. You know, cognitive scientists and psychologists study it just like they study memory or decision-making. It's a core mental process we can actually analyze and, believe it or not, understand. So if creativity is a process, how does it actually work? Well, one of the brain's most powerful, kind of secret weapons for making those big creative leaps is its ability to connect the dots, especially between things that, on the surface, seem to have nothing in common. This is the power of analogy. Let's put a name to it. The official term is analogical reasoning. It's basically our brain's knack for spotting a similar pattern or relationship in two totally different things. This lets us take what we already know about something familiar, we'll call that the source, and apply it to something new and confusing, the target. It's like the brain's ultimate shortcut to innovation. And check this out. This is a perfect example, maybe one of the most famous in all of science. Scientists were trying to figure out the structure of an atom, something they couldn't see. So they looked at something they did understand, the solar system, with planets orbiting a sun. And they thought, hey, what if an atom's like that? That's how we got the model of electrons orbiting a nucleus. It wasn't a wild guess, it was a brilliant transfer of a pattern. And this isn't just some neat little mental trick, it's absolutely fundamental to how we think. As experts like Keith Holyoake have shown, and as you can see here, analogical reasoning is at the very core of our intelligence. It's how we solve problems, organize the world into categories, and make those huge scientific breakthroughs. Okay, so our brains are constantly looking for analogies, but how does it decide which connections to make, and when? Well, the answer might lie in a framework called dual process theory. Just think of it like your brain having two different operating systems, and they work together to spark creativity. This idea was made super famous by Daniel Kahneman. He breaks our thinking down into two modes. You've got system one. That's your gut reaction. It is lightning fast, totally automatic, and it works by just making instant associations. Then you have system two. That's your deep thinking, analytical mind. It's slow, methodical, and it takes real conscious effort. To make it super simple, think about it like this. Recognizing a friend's face in a huge crowd, or ducking when a ball flies at your head, that's pure system one. You don't think, you just do. But figuring out a 15% tip on a restaurant bill, or doing your taxes, that requires the slow, focused, analytical power of system two. And here's the really cool part. True creativity isn't about using one system or the other. It's a partnership, a beautiful dance between the two. System one is like the wild brainstormer, just throwing out tons of ideas and crazy connections. Then, system two comes in like a careful editor, sifting through those ideas, testing them, and refining them into something that's actually brilliant. So we've talked about the mental models, but what's actually going on in our heads, physically? Let's switch gears and look at the neuroscience. We're going to peek under the hood and see the physical evidence for how our brains are literally built for creativity. So, thanks to some pretty amazing modern brain scanning tech, scientists can actually watch creative brains in action. And what they're finding is incredible. It turns out the brains of highly creative people show really unique patterns of connectivity. It's not about having more brain, it's about how the different parts of the brain are talking to each other. This quote from Dr. Ariana Anderson at UCLA Health just nails it. Her research found that creative brains don't just stick to the main neural highways that everyone else uses. Their wiring is different. It allows them to take the scenic route, making connections between parts of the brain that aren't usually linked. They literally stay off the beaten path. How cool is that? Now, this is the perfect time to bust a huge persistent myth. The whole idea of being left-brained for logic and right-brained for creativity. It's just wrong. Neuroscientists have completely debunked this. Creativity isn't stuck in one half of your head. It is a dynamic, whole brain process. It needs complex networks firing all over the place, across both hemispheres working together. Okay, so we've covered the mental tools and the neuroscience, but what does all of this actually mean for you, in your life? Let's take this from the lab to the real world and see how we can use all this knowledge to become more creative ourselves. Let's just quickly tie this all together. The big takeaway? Creativity isn't magic. It's a skill you can build. We've seen that it's all about making connections through analogy. We learned it uses a team up between our fast gut-level thinking and our slow analytical mind. And on a biological level, a creative brain is just a more highly connected brain. And that really brings us to the most powerful idea of all. That amazing aha moment isn't some random bolt of lightning from the sky. It's the final step in a cognitive process. And the best part? It's a process that you can actually understand and nurture. You can actively create the conditions for your own breakthroughs. So, you now have the scientific blueprint for one of our most amazing human traits. The question is no longer if you're creative, but how you're going to use it. Now that you know the science behind it, how are you going to spark your next big idea?